Get out.
Perfect. Here with Elizabeth Kelly here at the Multifamily Conference, having a great day. Obviously very excited to have her join our booth for a little bit of a quick chat, especially with somebody with her tenure and experience and knowledge. Elizabeth, how you doing?
I'm great, thanks. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's great.
Lovely to be here. We're having an awesome time this weekend.
Yes, we are. It's been crazy busy. It's been a lot of fun. So you know what? I thought we'd bring Elizabeth in here. Somebody that's been through the trenches, I guess. Would you say that? Is that fair? Right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like
For
trenches
sure,
and
right?
warfare.
And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk to our savvy investors, some of us, and everybody that's in the community today. You know what? We've been through some challenging times recently, and you know this is just part of the real estate investing cycle. I thought we'd talk to somebody that has some experience and knowledge, just to share a little bit about her thoughts, what she's thinking about what's going on in the market, and then more importantly, is this a good time to be investing or not? And also a little bit about maybe rent to own, because that is a strategy that you are an expert in. So maybe to start off with, what's your thoughts on what's going on in this crazy market?
I'm so glad you asked that, and it's funny because you wouldn't think it, but it actually changes week over week. So a lot of people are seeing signs of recovery, and it's been very positive the last kind of 2 to 3 months. We've seen, markets starting to go back up. We're seeing multiple offers, we're seeing bidding wars. And then I had dinner with a realtor who's boots on the ground in Toronto on Thursday, and he said to me the last 2 weeks everything has cooled.
Isn't that
and I
interesting?
said, that's unique. I said, what do you attribute that to? And he said he believes that the pent-up demand has now been satisfied and everybody else is sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to start to go back down.
Isn't that interesting?
And that's the importance of asking really good questions and not thinking, I asked this a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, but really understanding our markets. So in terms of what to expect, I can see, I know a lot of us start to feel like the market is coming back and we're just going to go right back to where we were in 2021. And the reality is there's still a large percentage of people who are really struggling right now. There are people, and we can see it, I think one of the best gauges is when you look at the listings the wholesalers have. And you can see these are people's homes that they are now liquidating. And so there's a huge segment of the population really struggling right now.
I agree, and I agree exactly what you're saying. I still think there's a lot of challenge still further ahead. I personally still think there's just going to be some more better opportunities in the future, but maybe I'll ask you that question. What's your thoughts? Is this a good time to be investing in, or would you wait? What's your feeling, and maybe what are some of the things you're referencing with your students or having discussions with your students?
So I think there's a lot of opportunity right now, and if you have cash and capital available, I think that this could be a very good opportunity to be able to deploy some of your cash. The challenge that I see is there's a tremendous focus right now on OPM. And when you're buying properties and they are leveraged with other people's money to 100 or 110% loan to value, if the market was to deteriorate further, you're really putting their money at risk. And from an integrity perspective, that's something that I think you really should think twice about doing. So there are certain strategies that I'm not as big a fan on right now. I think that in certain markets, flipping and burrs might be something that would be feasible, but there's a lot of markets right now that are sort of balanced perhaps, and that would make those strategies a little bit riskier to execute right now.
Makes sense.
This is a market where you are looking at the long-term play. This is a market where you want to make sure that you have the ability to withstand negative cash flow if it is next 12, 18, 24 months. But it's the long-term play that we should be looking at now.
Very, very good. So, one of the things that you are an expert in is rent to own. Is this maybe a strategy that actually does make sense for people that are maybe looking to sell? Because there's going to be possibly some motivated sellers here, and for a lot of us, they may be struggling. Is rent to own a strategy that maybe some people should be considering?
Absolutely. This is a great time for rent-to-owns. I personally stopped doing rent-to-owns. I made the decision towards the end of 2020 because the markets were so hot. People were in bidding wars. People were overpaying. I didn't feel like that was doing any favors to the investors or the tenant buyers. So now we have the opportunity to come in. The markets, in a lot of places, they're not super heated, so we have the opportunity to be able to negotiate, navigate a little bit better. But the real opportunity that I see with rent-to-owns right now is people whose portfolios are in crisis. People who have negative cash flow. Rent-to-own is a great way to turn that around. but you're selling for a future valuation. So instead of locking in, selling right now, you have the opportunity to generate break even or even positive cash flow for the next few years while you are planning on selling and liquidating in the future.
Love it. Love it. Great information, great insight. It's always a pleasure to have you here, Kelly. So Elizabeth, sorry. Now, I guess you got something that's going to be coming up here later this fall. So I thought maybe let's introduce this here to everybody because this is, I don't know if anybody's going to do this. Maybe this is the first time we're talking about
It's
this.
pretty quiet. We haven't done all the fanfare yet.
Okay, so maybe you want to share that with some excitement, what's coming up later this fall?
Fantastic, thank you. So we are announcing the second annual Real Estate Resilience Summit. We are going to be talking about how to be resilient real estate investors. And the reason why we chose the topic of resilience is because I think you would probably agree with me that the number one defining quality that successful investors have is their ability to be resilient. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you figure out how to get up and get back on your feet and keep on going.
Love it, love it. So where are they going to find out this information? I guess where should they be following you on your social feeds?
Absolutely,
Or where?
Socials, they can send me an email, and you're going to be one of our honored guests.
Love it.
Talking about joint ventures, so they'll be able to tune in with you too.
Awesome, fantastic. Looking forward to the summit. Hope to see you guys all there. Elizabeth, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you
Really
so
appreciate it.
much.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye everyone.